What is up, everyone? It is Tuesday night, which means one thing and one thing only on the YouTube fantasy cheat, the GF2 fantasy cheat sheet presented by Going42 Live. So I can get my bearings straight, let's hit the intro, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everyone. It is Tuesday night. We are here live, fantasy cheat sheet presented by Going42 Live on YouTube, Twitch. Go like, subscribe, hit the bell. But let's get into the cast and crew. We got Jamie, Jordan, and Reggie here tonight. What is up, fellas?
Just getting ready to talk cheat sheet, man. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited. Got a few things, a few bones I got to pick with you guys, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm ready. I got some things I want to get off my chest as well. I'm signing up for some therapy after not even 3 weeks yet of football.
Okay. I am in the same boat as you guys. Like I told you guys pregame, before we got on, I have a squad that's bad. I got bad things. I do have one really, really good thing that I will bring up that I don't know if you guys saw, but let's just get straight into it. We got some news to talk about, and this is where I know Jordan was talking about a bone to pick. He's got other stuff, but injury gods, what the heck is wrong with you? We're just going to go through a handful of them. We're not going to talk about all of them just because of time, but also we're going to get into the stuff that has changed, prevalent, and that, that case. Let's get into the first piece of news that I want to talk about. And yes, I'm going to bring it up first because it does have to do with my Kansas City Chiefs. There is a piece of the puzzle that we will save till later in the show, but Isaiah Pacheco is out with a fractured fibula, put on the IR. He's going to be out for multiple weeks. Jamie, they also just signed onto the practice squad Kareem Hunt. I will get in a little – you guys know I have a tiny soapbox to go off on that in a little bit. But, Jamie, what do you think about Pacheco missing? But I want to ask you, what do you think about Kareem Hunt? Big deal?
Yeah,
no, you know my saying. Big deal, no deal, little deal.
Man, this one hurt, man, because I like Pacheco a lot. I had a bunch of them. I think I heard he's going to be out, 6-8 weeks, something like that. It's going to be tough, man, but I could see him maybe changing it up a little bit and getting the receivers more involved and actually having Kelsey do something. He's probably not going to have to block as much now, and he could actually put up some fancy points for us. As for Hunt, we saw this last year with Dalvin Cook. Wasn't Dalvin Cook on their practice squad? He wasn't even used much. Or, yeah, Gordon. That's what it was. Yeah. Gordon. I see it at situations like that. He's old. They might bring him in for a few plays here and there, but I'm not going out spending my fab on Hunt. He hasn't played in how long? So,
yeah. Jordan.
Same. I didn't have a lot of exposure to Pacheco, but I like the style, I like the way he run. He was obviously effective. The fact that he started being used more in a passing game had added to his value. They didn't really need they had P. Ryan, but they didn't really use him that much. Pacheco got most of the work, but now it's just going to be a messy situation. And, Hunt being there, we're going to talk a little bit more about it later, but just overall, it's like, I don't think there's going to have a guy like they had with Pacheco. So it's going to just be some guys may have their weeks, different situational things, but it's just a big loss. But like Jamie said, the bright side to this may be that, the receivers get more involved, Kelsey in particular. So that may be good because Mahomes has been subpar so far. So maybe this helps him kind of get on track as well.
Yeah, also maybe more designed runs from Worthy.
So, yeah. Jordan, get out of my head, please. The question for you, Reggie, is what is this going to do for the fantasy impact of Mahomes and the passing game in general, but especially Mahomes with Pacheco being out.
Bring it on. Let's start passing the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah, so he threw the ball 25 and 23. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not enough for the talent that Mahomes has. Okay. Let's just give me a little bit of, I have the timer on screen so I can do this. I'm going to take 30 seconds. That's all I'm taking on this. Even as a Chiefs fan, I am going to be good and not go on a complete soapbox. However, this sucks. I'm not even talking fantasy. For football, this sucks. Pacheco, like Jordan, you brought up. I love the style that he had. I love the downhill running. They involved him more in the passing game. He was a beast. I was personally at the last game that Kareem Hunt played in red and yellow. I didn't want him back on my team. I wasn't very happy about this, partially because Jamie last year made a very bold take that one running back was going to be on the Giants last year, and he wasn't. And we were going to bring him in for a visit if we didn't bring in Kareem Hunt. And I wanted this guy. If we were going to sign a veteran, I wanted Uncle Lenny Fournette. I would have rather have had Fournette over Hunt. But like Jordan said, like we brought up, we're going to talk about this more later. So on to the next piece of injury news. And speaking of drop hip tackles, this one hurts me to the core because I was so on this guy. Joe Mixon injured in the Sunday night game. Haven't got word how long he's going to be out. Is it going to be bad? There's rumors that Dameon Pierce might not even be ready for week 3. So if Mixon can't go, I mean, Cam, I have no Achilles Acres, might be the starting running back. Real quick, we're going to go Reggie. What do you think about Mixon? Do you think he's going to play and the effect if he doesn't?
I think he's going to play. I'm not sure. I didn't hear back from the MRI or the testing that he did. But it's either him or maybe possibly Dameon Pierce. But I think he's going to play.
Jordan.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to play. They said he avoided serious injury. So, I think and if he does miss it, maybe 1 week, maybe. But right now I'm banking on him trying to get out there. I don't want anybody else if he doesn't play, though, because
I'm not playing Cam.
Agumba Wale is going to get the passing downs work because he got some of that Sunday night. So it's just going to be a mess, and I don't want to deal with that.
Jamie, you got any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. If you watch the game, you see him. He went into the tent, was there for like 2 seconds, came out, went to the locker room, got taped up, came out. He was riding the bike. He was running on the sidelines, doing some cutting, and then they actually put him back in the game. So I think he's going to be fine. I think they just tested him in the game just to see how serious it was. He probably didn't feel comfortable, so they took him out the rest of the game. But a week rest, I think he'll play.
Yeah, the only other thing that I heard was that there was extra swelling overnight, but like always, that stuff's going to happen. So as long as they can control that, we'll be fine. Another piece of injury news. We got 2 more to talk about injury, and then a big other quarterback issue that arose. I know this one's going to hurt. I know this one hurts Jordan to the core. Cooper Kupp. We have to bring it up real quick. We don't got to go too far into it because the time we can spend half an hour on this. Cooper Kupp is going to be out. So now you have no Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua, no offensive line. I think they had 5. I think they've already had 4 or 5 offensive linemen go down. Another one went down this week. I heard the footballers today joke around that they should literally just ask the league for an extra bye just so they don't have to play and take a forfeit. I mean, yes, it was a joke, but in all reality, I mean, do you really want Stafford playing behind the line right now? I mean, I get it. if Cooper Cup's out and everything, Jamie, are you touching Stafford at all? And what are you doing? What wide receiver? Because I know neither one of them are on the sheet for waiver wire. If you had to pick, which wide receiver do you want? If you only had to pick one.
Well, this whole offense seems doomed from right now. I don't want anyone like Stafford. I'm not going to start Stafford. It has to be Demarcus Robinson if you're going to play a receiver. I think he was on last week's waiver wire pickup. But yeah, definitely get him. He was playing all the snaps. You could even go after what's his name, Whittington.
Yeah,
I know he was like an off-season guy that everyone was going after. But yeah, no, I'm not going to feel comfortable starting any of these.
All right, I'm going to go to Reggie first. I am coming back with you, Jordan, but I have a particular question I want to ask you. Reggie, what wide receiver would you take, and what do you think about Stafford?
I'm not playing Stafford. I don't have any shares of him. I think the alarming thing about the Rams that I heard, and I think it was Fantasy Pros, they said that you only get, excuse me, you only get so many spots of IR with destination to return. They're out of those spots. So if somebody else gets injured, they have to switch somebody to out for the year. And I was like, wow, that's how many people they have injured. I think I've been on the DeMarcus Robinson train, and I'm going to play him where I can. I don't know about Jordan Whittington because they don't really have anything else to guard. So it's going to be tough sledding, and they have no O-line. They have paper toilet tissue, wet toilet tissue for O-line.
All right, Jordan, you and Reggie are definitely in my brain tonight because every time I go to say a question, you guys set me up. Speaking of that O-line with the wet toilet paper, what are you doing with Jamie's favorite running back in the entire world?
Mr. 2.1 yards per carry.
Hey, you see how many points he's had? Hey, it's just like Joe Mixon last year. It's all volume is king.
Yeah,
Jordan,
sadly, I'm rolling him out there until he disappoints or gets hurt, which may not be too long from now with the way interests have been going for the team. But yeah, he had, I think, 20-some yards rushing, but got a touchdown. If they get close enough, he's going to have opportunities still. It's just going to be tough sledding like the guys mentioned. But yeah, I'm still rolling him out there. Obviously, if there are other options, but with all the injuries going on, you might have to play him. So, I wouldn't be too worried about playing him considering certain circumstances, but it's going to be tough, and you got to have those expectations adjusted for him.
All right, I'm going to bring this next one up, but we're going to skip past it. I'm just going to bring it up as a point. We'll talk about it later in the show under one of Reggie's takes. Tua is put on the IR, so he's officially going to out for minimum 4 weeks, probably longer. Going to go see a neurologist, going to, see what's going on. I just want to bring that up because I know it was a big event. I didn't want to skip over it. The reason I'm skipping over it for right now is I know this next topic, we're going to talk maybe 1 or 2 minutes longer than normal on this kind of an issue. And I know we want to get into the meat of the show, and we're already pushing the time limit. So let's just get straight into it. The number 1 overall pick of last year's draft, Mr. 6 foot even, if he's lucky, 110 pounds out of the cereal box, Bryce freaking Young has already benched for the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. So I'm just going to get straight to it. I'm going to skip Jamie for just a second, and I'm going to skip Reggie for just a second because this guy down in my bottom right-hand corner, he's got a grin on his face, and I know why. So, Jordan, I'm just going to let you talk for a couple minutes, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to go quick over to it. So go ahead, buddy.
I'm going to try to keep it short. But, a couple of times this offseason, on the show, we've talked about the Carolina Panther offense. I've heard about Dave Canales and the work he did with Baker. I heard about Deontay Johnson being of value. I heard of this. I heard that. And my response to these things was always, are we believing in Bryce enough that he can support these weapons? And I was told, I was convinced even that this should happen. Well, we're 2 games in, and he's already on the bench. Now, this may be good for the weapons that we talked about because Andy Dalton can't be worse than Bryce has been. But it didn't happen the way that it was supposed to happen with a former number 1 pick who has to jump to see over the line. But, I think this is this. I don't know what this means for Bryce long term. This is not a good sign. Obviously, I don't know if you can even go back to him. Like, if Andy Dalton stinks, do you go back to Bryce, or is his season over? Like,
the quote was, "He's still our quarterback." He said that. Canella said that after the benching. He's still our quarterback.
Listen. He's going to need a couple of weeks, I guess, to watch Andy Dalton. But if he's going to be preying on Dalton's downfall, but I'm not sure it's going to come as quickly as he would hope. Dalton had some games with the Panthers last year. Adam Thielen was more than serviceable. He was like a top 24 wide receiver most of the time. So this sucks. I told you guys Bryce wasn't good enough to support these weapons, but now you may get a mulligan because Andy Dalton may save the day. Can't believe I'm saying that in week 3 without an injury, but that may be the case.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Jamie go, and I'm gonna let Reggie go in a sec because I'm not gonna say much. I have one comment that I will make afterwards, but I just want to say this: when I saw this come across the screen, and I knew we were gonna have to talk about it tonight, I didn't think about talking about it with Jamie. I didn't think about talking about it with Reggie. I just thought of getting scolded by your mom or your dad by doing something wrong in the backyard and hearing, "I told you if you did that, you were going to fall off the tree and get hurt." And that's how I feel with Jordan going, "I told you if you were going to trust in freaking Canales, you were going to get hurt." Well, Jamie, was this a Canales move or was this a David Tepper move?
I have no idea. It could have been Canales, just like, I mean, he is the quarterback whisperer, right? So he's like, "Oh, well, you give me this guy, I'm telling you right now, I can't do anything with him." So
that's what it seems like.
This could be a bad sign for him, but you got to give props to Bryce Young. Honestly, he set an NFL record. Not many people can say that. He has the most passing attempts without reaching 100 yards.
So, Jamie, do you know what the word "you got to give props" means?
I'm just saying, not many people can set NFL records, and he did. And you got to think, like, what makes a great quarterback, right? They got to know their own limitations, and he actually knows he can't throw the ball more than 4 yards in the air, so that's a good start.
As much as I bag on Bryce, I actually believe he's better than what he showed, but I just think he's not put in the best best situations to succeed.
So. Reggie, go ahead.
I wish I could see it. I don't think I've seen a single snap, like in a live snap or a series, a possession that he's played, because it's like, it can't be that bad, but it looks like it's that bad. And I'm going to put myself on timeout because I'm one less than 30 days ago that said that he would throw more passing yards than any rookie this year. And I forgot. I knew it was coming. So
that might not be Caleb. That's not too crazy. Caleb has great either.
None of them has thrown a touchdown yet.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to keep it nice and short. As I was wrong. I don't see a way that it rectifies itself, at least in 2024. I'm not fully going to say he's done like Jordan said. I'm not saying you said, I'm just saying like you brought up. I'm not saying he's fully done. I think this is a similar situation to Justin Fields. Like Jordan was saying, I don't know. And what I mean by that, Reggie, because I see the look, all I'm saying is I don't know if he's being put in the right position to succeed in the situation that he was brought into. Is he being he had no coach gets let go last year, not a good situation. Now you get this, like, is he being put in is it the best situation for him? Does he need a restart? Yes, it's only 1 year, but like, does he need a fresh start? Not being in Carolina, was the pressure too high? I personally think the pressure was too high for him being the number 1 pick. That's what I think a lot of it was. I think a lot of it is inside of these things. I don't know if he's that kind of guy. I think that's the exact opposite of CJ Stroud, where CJ Stroud had more of the better mental makeup than Bryce, and that was part of the reason that I had, Jamie, you can attest to this from day one. That was why I had CJ Stroud over Bryce Young as my number 1 QB from the jump. But for the weapons themselves, I agree with Jordan. I think this is a plus for Deontay. This is a plus for Thielen. And the only one I give a crap about, honestly, is Deontay. In the sense of, I have too many shares of Deontay. I need Deontay to at least do something so I can put him in at least a few weeks of the lineup. All right, let's just get straight into last night. I didn't watch the whole game. I told Reggie knows this. I ended up getting sucked into going into my niece's flag football doubleheader. So instead of watching men do great things on the field, drop passes, I have one statement to say before I get into this. Falcons won 22-21. Jamie, I'm going to start with you. But you can always take Saquon out of the Giants, but you can't take the Giants out of Saquon. Jamie, take it away.
Why the heck would you pass the ball on 3rd and 3 with a minute and a half left? Falcons didn't even have timeouts, and they decided to pass the ball to him. Like that makes no sense to me. So you should have just ran the ball. But my takeaway is, okay, so Vegas wasn't going to let 93% of people win that bet with the Eagles minus 5.5. And that's why it happened the way it happened.
Conspiracy theory, Jamie.
Conspiracy theory.
Hey, man. Makes no sense.
That's your takeaway of the game is a conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
I was take your badge away. Jordan, will you go before I kick him off the screen?
So I do think the Eagles let the Falcons off the hook by throwing the pass. Even though they had completed that play that set up the push touchdown on like a previous drive, it looked like they ran that same play. Saquon got tackled at the one. The Falcons were praying that they wouldn't run the ball because they were running it down their throat whenever they decided to. But, hey, Saquon dropped it. If he would have caught it, we wouldn't have been having this discussion. So he catches that, I think, 9 out of 10 times, but he didn't. My big takeaway was that it seems like Kirk Cousins is getting healthier. And maybe that was the difference in quality of a defense he faced. I know the Steelers they're obviously a great defense based on the performances they've put on so far, and the Eagles aren't. But he was doing more under center. The handoffs from under center was allowing Bijan to take off, get some running room. He's finally looking at Drake London. That was a good sight. 7 targets for him, 7 targets for Mooney. Kyle Pitts, I don't know what to say about that. I'm going to give it some more time. But overall, I think it just looks like the offense is starting to get in sync a little bit more. This is like their preseason since they didn't really play together at all. And Kirk is looking decent. He had a come from behind win on primetime television, so that's something that he doesn't typically do. I came away from the game intrigued by the Falcons and what they can be, because I don't think they've reached their ceiling yet. But I'm not as worried about the weapons that I drafted as I was after week 1. So it's looking better. The Eagles defense is one of those that can be had, it seems. So I'm not worried about, if I have a player, I'm not worried about a matchup against the Eagles, running back or receiver or quarterback for that matter. So yeah, I think the Falcons looking decent and getting better.
Reggie.
From what I did catch, because the Nap Monster got me, Atlanta looked like in the beginning of the game a lot more cohesive and understanding where they were supposed to be than they did last week. Just so happened it was on both weeks. Wow, I've got to see the whole game. Last time I fell asleep here. I'm giving Kyle Pitts one more week. That's next week. We might be talking about that later, so I'll explain why. But I did not catch as much of this game as I wanted to see.
Kyle Pitts. That was my takeaway. I need Kyle damn Pitts. Reggie, I know where you're going with this. I know what you're going to say even before you brought it up to me earlier because I agree. We'll talk about that later. But besides Kyle Pitts, yes, he had an okay performance fantasy points wise. But Drake London worries me still a little bit because 85% of his fantasy points production came 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter and beyond. I can't do that. I won because of Drake London. I don't need to be stressing on Monday night at 8 o'clock at night and be wired for 3-4 more hours. That needs to stop. So Drake London, please do me a favor. Go ahead and do better. But that's also the offensive coordinator. And Kirko, congratulations, you won on Monday night. All right.
Too much.
Let's get into it.
McLeod.
It is time. Yeah.
No, I was going to say too much McLeod.
I had to start him
Mooney.
because AJB. I had to start him because AJB, though, so I'm okay. But overall, yeah, they spread it out too much. Instead of concentrating on your number one, they spread it out a little too thin for us. Tanner, if you're still here, I do see your question in the comments. We will get to that. Is actually part of that is being brought up later in the show, so I don't want to quite bring that up yet. But I do see your comment about your waiver wire question. I just want to let you know I saw it. All right. It is time for Real or Fake. Now, Jamie, let me make sure that I have yours right so I don't screw you up. I 100% agree with yours, and that's all I'm going to say because I am not talking about this topic. So, who is your real, buddy?
My real is Mr. Zay Flowers. He finished this week with 22.1 points. He tied for wide receiver 11 with Quentin Johnston. So I was looking at last year. Flowers, he averaged 7 targets a game. He finished in the top 12 wide receivers with 20 or more points 4 times in his rookie season. So this past week, he's seen 10 targets. He had 2 in the red zone. Last week, he had 11 targets, and he caught a touchdown. So altogether, he's getting a 30% target share, and he's also seeing 28% of the red zone target shares. So I think he's going to consistently give you wide receiver 2 numbers, and he'll have a handful of boom weeks giving you wide receiver 1 production. So that's why he's real for me.
Have up here. Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
I agree, man. Zay, I was worried after week 1 with the low ADOT, but they started to get him going in other ways. I anticipated that, but it was just something to kind of be mindful of after the first game. Looking at it this week, they're just finding a bunch of different ways to get in the ball. That's what you do when you have a player as explosive as him. I don't see that changing. The tight end production is kind of fluctuating, but one thing that has stayed the same is the way that they want to get the ball in his hands. So I definitely think he's going to continue to put up consistent production. And that's all you really want at this point in time. For a lot of people, they drafted Zay as like a wide receiver 2 and in some cases a wide receiver 3. So if he's giving you that consistent production, constantly involved in a really good offense, I think, I can see that continuing for the rest of the season.
Reggie.
I think it's real for sure. And I think it's here to say. I know I didn't get to see the game. I don't know how us here in the Bay Area can't see a Raider game as a regional game, even though they're in Vegas, but that's another show. It being blocked from us didn't make any sense.
Yes.
But Zay Flowers, it just reminds me of another wide receiver, and I just wish he was on the team with Ben Roethlisberger in his heyday, because Zay Flowers is here to stay, and they're going for him early in the game, and it is unapologetically intentional. They're not hiding the fact. I don't care what you're trying to do. They're going after that man, and they're going to keep. He's going to keep producing, because that's one of those offenses with Derrick Henry, and they have that RPO option. They have Mark Andrews. It's going to be consolidated. And who else? That's how they're going to run their offense through, and of course, Lamar Jackson. So yeah, I think this is real.
Jamie, why don't you tell us who your fake is, sir?
All right, so Quentin Johnston. So he also finished wide receiver 11, tied with Flowers. What was it, 22.1 points. So if you remember in the NFL draft last year, he was taken one pick ahead of Flowers. That was crazy to me. What a waste of a pick. Like, QJ wishes he was Flowers. I was looking at last season, like QJ averaged like less than 4 targets per game, and he only caught like about 2 of them per game. He only had 2 touchdowns all season. Like his highest finish was wide receiver 26, I want to say. And he needed to catch all 4 of those targets in that game and a touchdown just to hit that 13 points. So yeah, there's no way. Like, basically, if you're starting QJ, just hope for a 10-point fantasy game, not a 20-point fantasy game. But most likely you're only going to get 5 or less. Like, unless he catches a touchdown every week, which I don't think he's going to. I don't think QJ should be in your starting lineups. He'll never hit that top 12 wide receiver again this season, maybe in his life. Who knows? So, yeah, don't be fooled. QJ, hella fake.
All right, Reggie, will you talk for a minute while I come up with something to talk to this guy rationally about?
Well, I think it's a fake as well. Other than the fact no one has taken the role, ran away with the role. We're not going to get a lot of production because they're going to be ground and pound J.K. Dobbin you up and down the field. I don't think the volume is going to be there in that offense. I don't think Justin Herbert has passed for more than 200 yards yet, and the recipe or how they are staying competitive is not going to be the volume Quentin Johnston is going to sustain. It's just not going to be enough, and you don't want to depend on that. So I think it's going to be fake.
All right. Oh, okay. So here's the thing. I actually agree with both of you, but you said one thing in your statement that I disagree with you, and I know you are a 100% staunch QJ non-supporter from day one. I truly believe you're a little bit jaded. And I get it, because you weren't on QJ like I was either. So I wasn't on QJ coming out of the draft. I agree with you about Zay being drafted after him, and I get all that. I understand. I agree with you that he shouldn't have been drafted. But with their weapons, and this is what I think Reggie was kind of alluding to, no one's taken that role yet. Ladd is being used, but no one's taken the role. Palmer, to me, is a facade of a not. It's either Ladd or QJ. It ain't Palmer in the sense of taking that role. All I'm going to say, the only thing that I disagree with you on is he will have another week that is going to be like this. He's going to have another week that is going to be a boom week. Is it going to be a top 10? Possibly not. But he's going to have another week that we're all like, oh, damn, I wish I had QJ in our lineup. The issue is it's not going to be sustainable enough. I don't understand why you don't draft him. You're the only one on the show that has over 15 freaking best ball lineups, and it's probably in the 15,000s. And you're the one that's the only kind of league that I would even draft his bum butt in. So I'm surprised. That's why I'm saying I disagree with you, but I completely agree with you on the fact that he is a fake. Now let's get to the real part of the show. Jordan, will you give us your reel?
So my reel is James Cook. He had it on full display for everybody on Thursday night. When I was high on him in the offseason, I obviously don't think a 3 touchdown game is sustainable. It's not something that I was, banking on him having. But what I was taking note of was that how the Bills ended the regular season last year once Joe Brady took over, and the way that they kind of shifted philosophy into focusing more on the run. That carried over this year. You look at Josh Allen's throwing numbers. He's only thrown the ball. He threw the ball 19 times Thursday, and I know it was a blowout, so they kind of pulled the starters early. And then in week 1, a close game against Arizona, he only threw the ball 23 times. So, that's them leaning more on the run game. Cook scored the 3 touchdowns, but I'm just more thinking about Josh Allen hurt his hand in week 1, and they had the ball on the goal line Thursday night, and I was anticipating him barreling through people and scoring a touchdown himself, but I think that hand is still bothering him, and they want to protect him from himself, so he turned around, handed it off. They're going to be monitoring his health since he got banged up in week 1. The more that they're worried about that, the more that's opportunities for James Cook. And they are winning with this formula, obviously. They're dominating people. The defense is looking good. So I can see this continuing. Not 3 touchdowns every week, obviously, but sustainable performances with opportunities that a lot of people didn't think he would have just because of who his quarterback was. But I think that shift in philosophy is kind of opening people's eyes to what's going on.
Oh, sorry. I'm awake now. Jordan knows why I'm acting this way. Jordan knows. And I put myself number 1 on this one for a freaking reason. Jordan's been telling me all summer long, James Cook. What have I been telling you, Jordan, all summer long?
I'm going to let you say it.
No, I need you to tell me what I was saying to set me up.
You done said so many different things that, you disparaged them so much, I can't even remember.
All I'm going to say is, I was wrong. I am ready to admit the first thing to admitting you have a problem is admitting it. Well, I was wrong about James Cook. I am not giving up on Ray Davis yet, but I was wrong on James Cook being the workhorse. I do think it partially has to do with what you're saying about the health of Josh Allen. But if you have that, coupled with those big plays every once in a while, you get that 30-yard touchdown. I was absolutely wrong about James Cook. And that sucks for me to say because I was off on him so much. But, Reggie, what is your opinion on James Cook?
I actually got swayed. Jordan, I don't know how I had this whole soliloquy about how James Cook was a fake. He only played 48% of snaps, and I'm a Dolphins fan, so I think I took it personal, and I was ready. I was prepared to hurt my ammunition for you, and you just broke down why he only played 48% of the snaps, and like not only the 3 touchdowns, and I in my mind I want to say, Allen looked at very, very satisfied with that win, even though his stats wasn't really there. And maybe it could be that hand, because I was like, you ain't finna be getting them kind of games out of him. But why not if it's a win? He seemed very satisfied. He was okay with everything that was going on. He was happy that James Cook got to eat like he did, and they got to beat a division rival like they did, not with the fashion. And we're not going to talk about, I think we already kind of talked about that, but I think I'm a Dolphin fan, and I was a hater. I was coming to hate. And you talked it out of me because it made more sense. Good job, Jordan.
All right. So when I was assigning the people who were going to talk about this one, Jordan, I'm sure when you saw who was next to your name for your fake, you knew exactly why I put these 2 people to talk about it. There's a reason Reggie is not talking about this topic. It's because this person has caused many a fight on this show. So Jordan, will you take it away and set the 2 of us up to box?
Yes. Okay. Well, my fake, man, as much as it pains me because I really like this guy as a player, but just the situation as a whole, my fake is Calvin Ridley and the performance that he had this weekend. A rushing touchdown, come on. Like, let's be real on that. He only had one carry, just so happened to go for a touchdown. That's obviously not something you can expect. He caught a 40-yard touchdown pass with like one hand on Sauce Gardner falling to the ground. Like come on, like he can't. A lot of times he can't catch passes that's in his hands, but he caught that. So I don't see this, and it's on 6 targets from Will Levis. The mercurial, sporadic, whatever words you want to use for somebody who's inconsistent. He'll give you the gamut of plays. He's diving, throwing the ball for a fumble. Like, he's doing wild stuff. And I just don't see a receiver being able to continue to put up these type of numbers with a quarterback like that and an offense like that. I mean, when they're running the ball, the offense looks smooth. The minute that they drop him back to pass and he starts loading up, you got your fingers crossed because you don't know what's going to happen. I definitely think it's a good time to sell on Ridley if you can, but sell high if you can. If somebody's looking at those numbers that he just put up, I definitely try to sell. But yeah, man, I just think it's a fake. I don't think it's sustainable in an offense that we don't know what to expect coming on a week-to-week basis.
Jamie, will you just go ahead and get this over with? So let's go.
Well, I agree in a way that he's not going to be a top 6 quarterback week to week.
You mean wide receiver?
Yeah, wide receiver with the quarterback that he has. There's no way. I mean, he's seeing the targets. He saw, I think, 7 last week. He got 6 this week.
That's weak though. Like you can't anticipate a guy putting up like even wide receiver 2 numbers just on 6 targets from Will Levis. Like I don't want to trust that.
So I see him more of that like wide receiver 3 type guy that could get you into that wide receiver 2 every once in a while if he catches a touchdown. But yeah, there's no way he's going to get all those touchdowns week to week. So as a wide receiver 6 this week, I agree. Yeah, he is a fake, and you should sell him high to someone that's going to just look at the box numbers. Sell high to him because I don't think he'll ever get there again this week or this year.
Okay, let's just do it. All right. You're not wrong. Is it a fake? Yes. I'm actually admitting it's a fake, Jordan. But it's for the exact reason it's for the reason you said. It's not sustainable for one reason and one reason only. You can't have this kind of a performance week in and week out with a quarterback that is hated by his own coach. When the coach all week is saying, oh, he made this mistake in week 1, and then he made the same mistake in week 2. Is he having too much mayonnaise in his coffee? I mean, there might be a problem with Will Levis. For all we know, he might not last all year. That's part of the issue. I will still fight for the name of Calvin Ridley, though. And that's against something that, God, Jamie, every time you have a take, you say something that pisses me off. And that's part of the reason we're perfect on the show together. I see the comments. I will come to them in a second. I need to get this off my chest. You saying he's only worth a WR3, blah, blah, blah. He's WR16 currently after 2 games. I said he was going to be a low-end WR2 in the league this year, and I'm sticking to it. Could it be borderline WR2? Yes, but he is going to have weeks that he's going to stink the place up. I get it. He's going to have boom weeks. Is his boom week going to be wide receiver 6 overall? No. He's not going to, like Jordan said, he's not going to have the rushing touchdown. You take that out, his numbers drops horrendously. I get that. I'm not going to sit there and say that the Gardner, give that pass to me. It's the rushing capability. No one thought he would be rushing the ball for a TD. He's not one of those guys. He's not a Worthy. He's not one of those dudes that does that kind of play at Debo at all the time like that. So, yes, it is a fake performance. I just don't think he is as fake as Jamie does. But to preface it for people that are, because we have some new people in the chat, me and Jamie have had an argument about Christian Kirk versus Calvin Ridley for the past 2 years, and we have hashed it out over and over and over, and it's just going to be something that we die the sword on each one. So that's just the way it is. All right.
Yeah, but just real quick, even last week, he had 7 targets, and he was wide receiver 50-something.
You had your take already. I'm going to check.
I was definitely on the Ridley side last year against Christian Kirk, so I was with you, Mike. But.
All right, so I'm just going to put this up real quick. Should I trade Rachaad White and Diggs for Chase? I know in terms of value, of course, Chase is definitely the option, but is it panic mode for him? Will he eventually turn it up week to week?
Yeah, no, I'm doing that trade.
Quick, go.
Yeah, I love that trade, Chase. Like the Bengals are notorious for slow starts. He had that contract issue. He didn't really practice that much. He tough matchups, but going forward, yeah, I'm starting Chase every week.
All right, so we will get to another question, and go ahead, Jordan, real quick.
No, yeah, for sure. White is banged up, might lose his job to Bucky Irvin before it's all said and done. Get Jamar Chase before this week when he tears up the Commanders on Monday night.
Yep.
All right, so we are let's keep moving. I just saw what time it is. All right, Reggie, who is your real player, sir?
My real player for this next one felt like we did this last week. So you want to skip? Y'all remember? No. It's Brian Robinson making it happen in his offense. We talking about the Commanders next week when the Chase is going to play him with Brian Robinson and this hopscotch air raid that like to go left or right. It works for them and it works for Eckler, but they're not pushing the ball downfield. But guess where they're pushing the ball to? In the air a little bit to Brian Robinson, which just wasn't as expected, but he showed he can handle that load this year. He's getting a lot of work. And I think it's real. This is going to be something that they're going to have to lean on because it's all that's happening.
All right. So here's what I want to say about it before I throw it over to Jordan, go ahead. You're first. That was my bad.
Yeah. I'm all in on all of it. Like you said, that passing down work was a pleasant surprise. The way that he's getting that as well. And they're even sharing it with Eckler as well. He's been able to have a decent fantasy week from catching passes as well, but the way he's dominating the rushing and the red zone opportunities and things like that. Obviously, occasionally Jaden Daniels may take a touchdown here or there from him, but just knowing that he's getting those opportunities is here to stay for sure.
They're a great fit together.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I need to move the show on a little bit, but I just have one thing to say. B-Rob, let's go, Brian Robinson, baby. I'm all in. That's all I got to say. Reggie, what about your
We can push it on that way. I just had a joke about it because I fell asleep because I didn't see. I looked the next day and was like, well, who? Mooney? I just didn't know where the points came from because I didn't see none of it.
It was he caught a pass, broke a tackle. It was a wide open, like the Eagles sold out. He was wide open in the middle of the field, broke a tackle, scored. So
it was fake.
He got 7 targets, but the points came on like a broken tackle, and he got in the end zone.
Jamie, what do you think about Mooney?
Mooney's a good wide receiver 2 for real football. For fantasy, maybe a flex. I don't think he's gonna ever do this again. There's no way he's gonna. I think he got like more points than London did this week, and I just don't see that happening again.
Trying to pinpoint between him and McLeod and who week it is just too problematic, and it could be neither one.
Yep.
All righty. Do you have anything more to say about Mooney, Jordan?
Oh, no.
Next on the
list. We can move on.
All right. So for my real player of the week, I am going with Jordan Mason. And I know that might seem like kind of a chalky or a gimme play, but here's the problem. I try to let the guys put stuff on the list first, and then I try to fill in the holes. Well, I was going to put Quentin Johnson as a fake. Couldn't put that one. I was going to put Brian Robinson as a real. Couldn't put that one. I was actually going to be nice and talk about James Cook as a real. Couldn't put that one. Then there was another one I was going to put, which I will talk about later because someone irritates me, maybe, depending on how they spin a certain player. And they don't. I haven't put that. I haven't said who it is. So I went down and I looked. I figured out a spin on Jordan Mason, and here's why I say he's real. Currently, Jordan Mason is running back 6 overall in the league. In week 2, Jordan Mason was 8th overall in standard and 10th in PPR. Here's my point. Right now, you got CMC out, so obviously he's going to be a must play with that team. I think he's real enough that even when CMC comes back, I'm not taking him out of my lineup. And that's why I'm calling him a real. I think he's going to be sustainable enough because they're going to try to keep him, CMC as him, healthy. They don't care about our fantasy lineups. They don't care about us. They care about one thing this year and only one thing this year. And that is getting to the damn Super Bowl and winning it. So that's why I think that he'll be fine. And that's why I call him a real play for this topic. Jordan, why am I wrong or why am I right?
No, you're right, man. I had Mason in a league where I had CMC, but then I also, after week 1, went go pick him up in a bunch of other leagues where I didn't have CMC, and now it kind of worked itself out. But, the 49ers, it remind me of, like, Mike Shanahan's Broncos, where, like, you can put, like, they used to have all kind of guys that would come in and rush for 1,000 yards because it was just the scheme and the way that they did things with the run game. And I feel like this is the same thing with the 49ers. Obviously, CMC is a stud. He does more than just run the ball. But as far as running, Mason's effectiveness has a lot to do with the scheme and the way that they do these things because they can throw almost anybody back there. And they'll, like, anytime the 49ers have a running back, we're all, for fantasy purposes, trying to pick him up or pick up a handcuff because they throw people back there. Elijah Mitchell was a viable fantasy asset when he got his opportunity. Jeff Wilson before him. So, like, there's always going to be that guy who's getting those opportunities in that offense that's going to make the most of them. So, yeah, I think it's sustainable, man. I wish they would use him a little bit more in the passing game. Not obviously he's not McCaffrey, but he's got 1 target each of the last 2 games. He talked about he worked all offseason doing that. I would like to see a little bit more of that. And I think that could really take him to, like, a next level for us. But even as just, running, being effective, averaging over 5 yards a carry, I can see it continuing.
Jamie, what do you think about Mason?
Jordan said it all, man. Like, insert running back, you're going to be effective. He's getting 24 carries, but he's not seeing targets. I just, when CMC comes back, I don't agree that he could be startable though.
No.
Yeah, no, he's probably just going to go down.
I'm saying as a flex.
Maybe a flex. Like, if he gets like 5 to 7 carries, possibly, but I just don't see that happening.
The only reason I say that is I think that they're going to end up I think it's going to be more of a split for when like maybe at the end of it, like championship, maybe not. But I think when CMC comes back, I think they're going to use it more closer to a split than we've ever seen with CMC to hold him out because I think they're more worried about him as a playoff running back and not, like I said, not a regular season guy. That's the only reason I bring that up. So for my fake player, I know I just added it. So when don't look at it, I'll say it. But when Jamie and Reggie, I know I just added it. But here's the thing: who is QB 25 overall this season so far in 2 weeks? Do you have any idea?
I looked at the sheet, so I know.
You saw it? Okay. But what if I told you that same player was 25 overall in week 2? He's had a horrible year so far when it comes to quarterback points, and that is Jared Goff. They have not had a great year so far when it comes to scoring. They've done it a lot on the ground. I'm giving him a pass in the sense of I don't think this is going. Is he going to be top 5? Absolutely not. I know, what was it, a year ago or 2 years ago, Jordan, I made that bold prediction that he was going to finish as a top 10 QB, and someone told me I was nuts, or I think that was when we still had Zach. But I do think he's going to be okay. I do still think he's going to finish as in between 12 and 15. He's going to get the wide receivers going. I think they're trying to use Jameson a little too much compared. I mean, St. Brown's getting the targets, but there's times where I thought St. Brown would get in, and they're using Jameson. That's all I'm saying there. Kyle, I know I put it up. I'm going to say again, what's up, Kyle? And I got to do this. What's up, Gator? What is up, Gator J? So that's all I mean by that. I do think he'll be fine. Hopefully, Laporta will be okay as well. But Jamie, what do you think about Jared Goff?
Yeah, I think he'll pick it up. They're got to get Laporta more involved. They got to get Gibbs in the passing game. The receivers will be fine, but yeah, they definitely, with all these indoor games he's going to have, he's got to put up those top 10 weeks, and we'll see it.
See, Gator, you agree no matter what because you're my homie and you know I'm smart. Reggie, what do you think?
I think how it's set right now, it's still early. They're not hitting on all cylinders. I thought he was QB7 last year. I could be wrong.
No, he was.
Yeah, he was.
So he's always been that kind of Kirk Cousiny kind of feel, some low scoring games, but he's Mr. Consistent when it counts. I don't think it's fake. I think that he'll still be dependable. But where were we drafting him? We weren't actually drafting him to be a top QB to start with. So we just have to measure expectations. We got the cherry on top last year, and it's still only week 2. So I don't think it's a fake. I think he's going to turn it around.
All right, that works there. And where are we at on the sheet? I just want to make sure that I'm lining this up correctly. All right, it is time for the host. All right, let's do this. Jamie, you ready to work real quick?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right. And I am going to wing it this time. All right. This show is presented by Underdog Fantasy. Go ahead, sign up using our promo code GF2, and you will get up to, right now, $1,000 in bonus cash. Up to $1,000 in bonus cash during the offseason to your best ball leagues and all that. Right now, it's all about hires and lowers. Go join those pools. They have pick'ems and leagues for every major sport. Go ahead, check it out using our promo code GF2 and get your up to $1,000 in bonus cash. All right, Jamie, it is time for your buy or sell player of the night. We might keep these a little bit shorter than normal because we're running on time, but who is your buy, sir?
Let's hope you listened last week and bought Marvin Harrison, but this week it's going to be Brian Thomas Jr., the Jags' new wide receiver 1. I think he is what we wanted Ridley to be last season. I know the Jags had a slow start, but they got to pick it up. I looked at the next 9 games. 7 of them have plus matchups in the green. Right now he's only seeing the 17.5% target share, but I can see that increasing as the season goes on. He also had 50% of the red zone targets, which is awesome. That's what you want to see. So Lawrence is looking for him in scoring situations. Last week he was wide receiver 20. This week was he 29? So I think you could buy him at a decent price right now before he starts getting that target share and catching those touchdowns. And that's why he's a buy for me.
All right, so we'll keep this to one piece for right now. Jordan, what do you think about Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah, I mean, like Jamie said, I definitely think he was what we was hoping Ridley would be. And I think, his numbers could be better, but Trevor Lawrence said it himself. They suck right now. And they played Miami, who has a decent secondary, and then they played Cleveland, a good defense overall. So hopefully they'll have easier matchups to come and they'll get more in sync. But yeah, I definitely think you should buy. It won't take much to get him at this point, I don't believe, because he hasn't had that real blow up game yet. So grab him now before he starts to blow up.
All right, Jamie, who is your sell of the week?
My sell is Kyron Williams. No, just kidding. It's J.K. Dobbins. I'm selling Dobbins. Like after 2 weeks, he had top 5 production. So especially like if you got him in the 12th round of your drafts, like why not sell him? Like you got to maximize that value. So after 2 great weeks, his trade value is probably at its highest that it's ever going to be this season. So like trading him for like a top player or like a mix of 2 players with like high value, I think could be a good idea. Like I don't think he could sustain what he's doing. He's got that injury risk. He's always had an injury history. Like so, like even with a strong start like this, there's a chance that he could like re-injured or at least get like a reduced workload later down the line. So yeah, to take advantage of these top games and sell Dobbins.
All right, so I said that there was a player that I wanted to talk about that someone stole from me. Well, this is it. And I was going to use the number one thing that the first one of all of them that I picked was J.K. Dobbins as my reel. So, Jamie, I got a bone to pick with you. If you can get top value for J.K. Dobbins, I understand the premise. If you can get top value for him. I don't think somebody is going to give you top value for J.K. Dobbins. So in that sense, I am staying pat, and I'm going to get the points that he is giving me because Reggie brought it up. I think it was Reggie that brought it up. Herbert is not throwing as much. They're running the ball down their throats. You think that freaking QJ is a fake. Ladd McConkey hasn't pulled it out yet, which he's a rookie, and I get that. They're going to run the ball all year. When they play the Chiefs, they're going to run the ball to keep it away from Mahomes. When they play other teams that got good quarterbacks, guess what they're going to do? They got Joe Alt for a reason. If they really wanted to pass the ball up and down the field, they wouldn't have drafted Joe Alt. They would have drafted Malik frickin' Neighbors. They did not. J.K. Dobbins is going to be the man as long as he stays healthy, and I get what your point is about the health. But I disagree with you on the sell unless I can get top value for him. I just don't think anyone's going to do that.
Yeah, plus like without regular targets, he's got to rely on that touchdowns, big plays, and I just don't think that could be sustainable, like not consistent long term.
So what do you think his end of the year ceiling is? RB what?
Probably in the 20s. Like
he could easily finish his RB 12 to 15 if he.
I see him more at like RB 20, and that's with having these big games. So it'll average out.
Jordan, you need to mark that down so we can get back to that during the offseason.
Like
Reggie,
he should be putting up those Kyron Williams numbers, not.
Oh God! Don't even. We're done. We're done. I'm gonna put you on mute. Reggie.
Yes, sir.
What time is it, Reggie?
Week 3 over-unders brought to you by GoingFor2. We coming at you this week with our over-unders, and I guess let me show you what I have. I put my picks in a little earlier today, so number lines may have changed, but they in. We already got them as what they are. And let me flip this over so you guys can see what we have here. And boom, my big head out the way. But we're going with it. Jacoby Brissett. I'm all lowers on the Thursday slate. I got all Thursday night games. Jacoby Brissett, lower than 165.5 points passing. Ramondre Stevenson, and I don't suggest anybody doing this, picking 4 picks over-unders in the same game. And also, like, you can't have Ramondre under 67.5, in my opinion, and Jacoby under 165, but you can because they're the Patriots. So we running with it. Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown for over 200 yards, 212 yards yet this season. I think that will continue. So we're taking the lower there. And you like, Network, what are you doing taking Hunter Henry lower? Did you see what they did last week? I do, but he's not going to be getting 58% of the target share every week. And they're coming off, this is a short week. So I'm banking on the fact he just might not have it all. And that is my 4 picks for Thursday night slates, brought to you by GoingFor2. And go use that promo code Underdog. Tell them the fantasy cheat sheet sent you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, how was that?
I like it, man. Thursday night, with 2 good defenses, it's gonna be a ugly game, I think. So I can see those unders hitting.
Yeah, you
I hope
definitely.
Right.
I hope Hunter Henry one doesn't, because I'm trying to get that kind of leads into what I was talking about with, I need Hunter Henry to hit though.
Jamie, what do you think about the unders?
I like them, especially the Brissett going against the Jets. I would take under 150 because I just don't see them doing much in that game.
A little difficult to go with a Ramondre under. Is kind of like, what do you really want to happen? So I don't suggest people do that when they have the quarterback for a lower, take the running back for a lower, but it's the Jets, and the Jets is going to come together, and we all know Aaron Rodgers plays slow. So I just thought it'd be the perfect storm. Threw $10 on it, and we'll see what sticks.
All right, so I just want to bring this up really quick, just because I can, because I have controls, and then we will go straight into Jordan's take. I'm not the only one that thinks this. Mike, you nailed it. Chargers getting Joe Alt was a home run. That dude is a monster in the West Coast for decades to come with Slater. So, Jordan, take it away.
I'm laughing at this guy in the chat. No, man, so real quick, just the tight end landscape has been disastrous. Just looking through the rankings, like the tight end 1 on the year is Isaiah Likely, and he had like 1 good game and sucked this past week. Brock Bowers is tight end 2, which I want to say I was wrong on Bowers. Didn't think he would be getting the target share that he's getting, and he's getting that right now. The studs that we all drafted are struggling right now. You're struggling whether Jake Ferguson's injured or Kelsey is not being productive. Laporta's not being productive. I think we got to weather this storm and just so yeah, it's an ugly landscape, but I think we'll see better days ahead. Hopefully, starting with Kelsey and the guys that we are relying on.
All right, Reggie, what do you think about the tight end landscape?
It's rough out here for a pimp. But anytime I can get a second round feature second for Isaiah Likely in 2 rounds, in 2 leagues, I signed me up for it. That was last week, and I got an offer in my inbox for a third. I'm like, dude, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. He's worth more than a third on my team. But this Hunter Henry is nice. You get some Brendan Strange action because Eric Ingram last minute came up lame. Like, this is bad. Like, David Njoku won people leagues last year. He is no longer with us. He is on the sideline nursing an ankle. What is up with the ankles? Can we get, like, it's the kryptonite of football right now. Passing is down, like, historically over the first 2 weeks of, like, all time. We are in the twilight zone right now. Just buckle up and things is going to get more normal. There's no more Isaiah Pacheco, like we said at the beginning of the show. So Kelsey is going to get some more looks because he has to. Because guess what? Patrick Mahomes is going to pass the ball 40 times a game. Sorry, I had to get it out. Go shoot.
No, that's absolutely for sure. Jordan, you know what to do.
Yeah, at that time we We got to set it up. Everybody's had their host cheat, but now it's time for the one, the only Mike's Rant of the Week. Take it away, man.
All right. I'm going off camera for a second so I can stay with my stats. So with me, but I am ready. My rant of the week has to do with two quarterbacks, and that is AR-15 and Jaden frickin' Daniels. And it's not that you guys have bad weeks. That's not my issue. Jaden Daniels, you rushed the ball 10 attempts for 44 yards. That's fine. I'm okay with that. You did good for me in leagues that I have really high scoring for freaking rushing quarterbacks. Mr. Anthony Richardson, you rushed the ball, where is it at again? 6 times for 56. No, where's the other one? That's the wrong one. 4 for 37. I'm okay with that. Hold on to the ball. Here's my problem, and I'm about to come on camera so I can see your guys' faces because this is where the rant really begins. You can't be a quarterback in the NFL if you're not on the goddamn field. Jaden Daniels got tackled so bad the other day that I thought it was like a goddamn pretzel at a freaking carnival. His leg went one way, his hips went another, and his back went the third way. Stay healthy. If you don't stay healthy, you're going to end up like RG3 and be out of the NFL and then be fired from ESPN in 3 more freaking years. If you're a quarterback and you're rushing, you need to realize when to slide. You need to realize when to get out of bounds. Go ahead, be healthy, throw the ball. But when you're running the ball, be a little more careful. Otherwise, I'm afraid both of these guys are going to be injured. Richardson was already out because he got tackled last year because he got hurt, got sacked, came back after 1 week off, then got re-injured and was out for the whole year. We don't need that again. I don't need that for my Jaden Daniels shares. I don't need that for my bold take for Anthony Richardson. Let's go. Be healthy and throw the ball. Get some touchdowns, but be smart when you're running the ball. Jordan, why am I right?
I mean, you are right, but I mean, you know, that's what makes them special, you know, using their legs. Obviously, sometimes when AR drops back to throw, we don't want him to throw. So, you know, but I think overall, obviously, yeah, nah. So, you know, obviously safety is what we want him to stay on the field, but you don't want a guy to not be himself on there because that's how they got to this point. Let's move on.
Yeah, we need to move on. All right, let's get to the waiver wire of the week. Jamie, why don't you just give us your player?
Yeah, you got to pick up Braylon Allen. During the game haul, he was spotted on the sideline. He was riding that stationary bike. So there could be something creeping up with him. While Hall was sidelined, Braylon stepped in. He got 7 carries, 35 yards, got a rushing touchdown, 4 targets, 2 catches, 23 yards, and a receiving touchdown. He averaged 4.7 yards per carry. So if you're a Hall owner, must go out and get him as a handcuff. Even if you don't have Hall, still, if you have a spot on the end of your bench, just go grab him because he could be an RB2 play if Breece Hall misses time. Plus, that'll give you like an opportunity to go sell him in a trade to the Hall owner.
All right. So, quick
I like
thoughts
that.
on that one. Jordan.
Yeah,
What do you think about
I like
Braylon
that.
Allen real quick?
Yeah, I like that. Especially like, you know, this waiver wire week isn't like any surefire, hard hitting league winners or anything like that. So getting somebody like Allen that you can either use if you have Breece or if you want to use them in a trade down the line, I think it's a good move.
All right. So, Jordan, why don't you get into whatever? I know who the player is, but I know you said you want to just get into it a little bit more in detail. So, go ahead.
Yeah, when I put this on the show sheet, this was before the Kareem Hunt news, but I definitely think Carson Steele should be somebody that people should look at on waiver wires. I believe he'll get the first chance to win the Pacheco role as far as rushing Not obviously the receiving part, but to be the leading rusher on the team, I think he'll get the first crack at it. Obviously, he fumbled last week, but he's still going to get the opportunity. P. Ryan didn't have a carry last week, even after Pacheco got hurt. So he's going to have a chance. Kareem Hunt will be on the practice squad for a week or two. So this will be like an audition for Steele to win that role outright. I think, I want to take a chance on him. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I don't think any of these guys, him, P. Ryan, or Hunt, are guarantees. And they might use all three of them, so it could be ugly. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on them, but I'll definitely try and just get a crack at the Chiefs backfield because it could be real valuable.
Hands down to me, I'd rather have Steele. I think Steele is going to be the short yardage goal line. I think P. Ryan will get the receiving work. And other than that, I'm not worried. I mean, could Hunt be something? Maybe, but I think Hunt is more of I don't think that CEH is going to be back after week 4. I have a feeling that's part of the reason why that they're bringing in Hunt, is I think the team knows he's not going to be ready right after week 4. At this time, we'll go back to the very, very beginning of the show. We'll get that question, and then when we get to mine, we will answer. I'm going to skip my waiver wire, and we will get into the other questions. So real quick around the horn, since this has to do with Carson Steele, I'll start with you, Jamie, then go Jordan, and then Reg. Real quick, Chuba Hubbard or Carson Steele?
I'm going Carson Steele.
I'm going Hubbard.
Yeah, I'm going Hubbard too.
All right, I am going Hubbard just in the sense that I think with Andy Dalton and volume. That's the only reason. Other than that, Steele.
For sure.
Reggie, you ready for yours?
Yeah, I am.
Go ahead.
I came up with this one last minute because I really like the talent in the player, and I want the player to get a shot. And as soon as I seen Marcus Lloyd actually go, Marshawn Lloyd, excuse me, thank you. Go on IR. I knew that was a 4-game runway. Chris Brooks, a running back from the Green Bay Packers, was formerly on the Miami Dolphins. Like, can you tell? And I just like what I saw. He's a bruiser. They are going to run the ball a lot until Jordan Love comes back. So it's going to be heavy run. And I just went and picked them up. Even if this is just for a showcase for somebody else in the future, I would really like him to get latch on with a team somewhere, even if it isn't Green Bay. But Green Bay loves to run a two running back system, and they're going to run the ball. Why not? I don't even think you got to put any fab on him. If you have room, if you have injury, it's worth take a pokey poke at him and see if he gets on the field. They just activated him from the practice squad. And I think there's one other, Emmanuel Wilson, that is possibly the person blocking him who hasn't done much with the little bit of run he's got.
Jamie, what do you think about Chris Brooks?
Never even heard of him until now, honestly.
What?
Yeah.
I still have him on two dynasty freaking taxi squads.
Yeah, maybe I need to, I know everyone, and that's one guy I don't know, but I do like that Emmanuel Wilson guy. I thought he was going to be the guy that's going to step up. I think he averages over 6 yards per carry. So he's that grinder type that can just get you some yards.
Yeah.
Right, so go ahead, Jordan.
Just real quick on Wilson. In week 1,
you're a Packers fan, so go for it.
Yeah, in week 1, when Marshawn Law was out, Wilson was like the second guy. He for the 4 carries he had, he looked better than Josh Jacobs. Obviously, that was a small sample size, but he had 4 carries for 46 yards. I think they liked what they saw out of him. He got some opportunities last week as well behind Lloyd, but I think he'll have that number 2 role until Lloyd gets back.
All right, so now we're just going to do some rapid fire. We'll go Jamie, Jordan, Reggie. Then the next question we'll go in reverse. We'll just keep going back and forth. I know the answer for me on this one. It's pretty simple to me. I've already kind of said it. But Slavsky, Kareem Hunt or Carson Steele? Jamie.
I'm going Steele, definitely.
Steele.
I didn't like what I seen from Hunt last year. I'm going Hunt, though. In that offense, like he knows that offense. He's familiar with it. And I've seen Jared McKinnon give me some points and get me over the hump many a times in my flex. So I think Kareem Hunt. Sorry,
All right.
I had to actually
No.
explain why.
Oh, no, you're good. Now, this one hurts the soul for me and Jordan, so I'm just going to say it out loud. Dowdle or Spears?
Yeah, this was more tough, but I'm going to go Spears.
Yeah, I'll say Spears too.
I'm from the Show Me State, and as it is right now, it is Dowdle for me. But you would ask me yesterday or before last week, because Spears came up a little hobbled, didn't he? He was questionable.
Mhm.
So before last week, all day Spears. But I'm thinking they might be deciding in Dallas to give Dowdle more snaps.
So I'm going Spears, but the reason this hurts me and Jordan, that means we're not picking Tony Pollard. Next question. I'll start with you, Reggie, on this one. Adam Thielen or Demarcus Robinson?
D-Rob.
D-Rob? All right, Jordan.
Robinson.
And Jamie?
100% Robinson.
All right, so I agree. NBA rigged. If you guys don't mind, put your prediction hat on. Which running back will play more games this season? Jamie, I see your answer, but you can explain if you want. Dobbins, or is that? Oh, that's a different question. Dobbins, Javonte, or Aaron Jones? Which running back will play more? Reggie.
Dobbins.
Which running back do you think will play more games? Dobbins?
Yeah.
Jordan?
Javonte.
Jamie?
Wait, which running back's going to play more? It's Aaron Jones.
Which running back?
No, more games.
More games.
Which running back is going to play more games this season? Like, who's going to stay healthy?
Javonte or Aaron Jones?
Oh, I'm going to go Aaron Jones still.
Okay.
I actually agree with Jordan on this one. Javonte Williams. Let's see, is that it? All right. So the one that I was going to bring up real quick, and I'm only going to bring it up. Actually, wait, hold on, right here. Oh, George Kittle or Brock Bowers? Jamie.
Yeah, I already said Bowers in the chat. Definitely
Okay.
Bowers. Because
Jordan.
Kittle's just too boomer bust.
I don't know now.
I'm going Kittle. I'm going Kittle without Debo for a few weeks.
For this week, I'm going
Debo,
all. I think this is for
right?
this week. I'm going all Kittle on this one. All Kittle on this one. That's what I'm just saying Kittle for this week because I think that's what we're talking about purely because, like everyone knows, with Debo being out, that is for sure. All right.
With Kittle and Brock Bowers on waivers, how many teams in this?
Right. I want to ask that too. Also in chat, somebody said the Raiders coach might get fired after might not make it through the season. They just beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
They beat a Harbaugh. That buys you some time right there.
That bought him an extra year.
Yeah, oh, maybe. If they could do that one more time this year, he's getting another year. And they were down. No, he only had like 48 yards, total yards in the first half or something. We'll see. You might be onto something, but just change your timing on that one.
All right. So, do we have another one?
12 man, 2 flex spots.
Is there a question in it, or was he just telling us his roster? I'm just trying to read it. Oh, available. Okay. 12-man PPR, 2 flex spots, benches Spears, McLaughlin, Demarcus Robinson, Dortch, Schultz. Available is Dowdle, Hunt, Steele, Thielen, Sutton, Tyler Johnson, Quentin Johnston, Alec Pierce, and Juwan Jennings.
Sutton is the new Pierce. He running air sprints. Leave Sutton where he is.
Yeah, leave Sutton on the.
Dowdle.
You have to drop one of those other guys. Like Spears is fine. I would say with Spears and Demarcus Robinson if Spears plays.
Yeah. Yeah, Jaleel McLaughlin got one more week before he's on his way.
I am so I was all me. I was all in on Javonte, and then everything happened. Like, do I do this? Do I do that? And then I went all Jaleel right before the season started, and now it's biting me rear again. K Balla says 10-10 PPR: Cooper, Javonte, or Deontay. I'm assuming we only need one.
Yes.
Is that for this week?
Yeah.
I'm assuming so, yeah. All these questions, I'm assuming it's start and sit.
Okay,
10-team
so
PPR, Cooper, Javonte, or Deontay?
it's a little early for me, but I'm going to go Cooper just because they're playing that Giants horrible secondary. But I just also want to say tune in for our Start Sit show Sunday morning, 11:30. Ask this, we'll be more prepared.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I can't say Deontay after I rag you all about it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Cooper as well. They're playing the Giants, so
Reggie?
Yeah, this is a fairly decent question,
Yeah, it is.
and I think I would go Deontay
Oof.
with some Dalton. I know it's scary, right?
You guys all know where I'm going with this one.
Deontay.
Deontay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going
I mean,
Deontay.
I gotta stick with my, like you said, I gotta stick with my laurels on this one. I'm giving Deontay a chance, and I do think that, like you even said, Jordan, in the comment in your topic way earlier, I do think that he's gonna have a better chance with
Dalton.
than he did with
Bryce.
what do you call it?
They'll have more snaps.
Yeah.
They're going to have more snaps in Carolina with Dalton.
So rate my roster. Starting roster: Kyler, Henry, B. Rob, which we all know we all love. CD, Collins, Nico, McBride, Devontae Smith, T. Higgins / DeMarcus Robinson. I need T. Higgins to do something. I'm just complaining because he hurts my soul. I love your two starting running backs because I think B. Robinson is better than a low end W. I think people aren't giving Robinson credit at all for what he's doing. So
he's kind of
Reggie,
playing in a ceiling, I think. And Henry is game script.
Yep.
CD's going to keep him in the game. Collins going to keep him in the game. Right. I'm not liking the D. Smith T. Higgins, but we haven't seen T yet. And D. Rob is the only show in town. And if he's in my flex, I'm happy. But I don't know how to rate it without seeing the other teams. Like,
yes,
it's a really nice team.
It's a good
Could
roster.
possibly be a contender.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. D. Smith and Higgins. I got to see Higgins because that's the
those two as my but loving it. I love the fact that he doesn't have to use either one as his WR2. He's using both as his flex.
I guess it all depends on how many people you have to start. If it's two receivers and one flex, or if it's three receivers and two flexes, or however. The way he has it listed, I think it's two receivers, one tight end, two flex, and Smith is his first flex, and then his second flex is T. Higgins or DeMarcus Robinson. Oh yeah, facts.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh yeah.
That's how I'm reading it. Just from
he said start roster with it too, so yeah.
Right.
I like it though. I like it. The D. Smith and T. Higgins. I mean, as your third and fourth receivers, I'm rocking with that.
You're flexible. You're nice. You got D. Rob to cover for T. Higgins right now. That is really good plug.
And the other thing I will state, like we brought up earlier, with Higgins playing Monday night and not knowing, like I'd rather just start DeMarcus.
I'm not playing him.
Like start DeMarcus and just deal with it. And then if Higgins does good on Monday, take it, figure out what you got to do, and then just deal with Higgins after that.
Oh, what happens if he's on sleeper and they have the auto sub thing? Would you even mess around and put Higgins in auto sub?
No,
because it's for another show.
Well, the other problem is like a lot of my leagues that are doing it. It's after Higgins is the last game of the night, so that's why that Higgins.
I don't know if it works that way. Does it work?
There's two Monday night games. Well, like the ones I'm in, the sub has to play after the person that's in your lineup.
Oh, okay.
So you can't. So that wouldn't work for that.
Gotcha.
Kyle, let's see what Kyle says. K-Baller's question was about a flex that week. So the one we answered about Deontay, it was for this week. Kyle says, I actually will say Deontay over Cooper because of Andy Dalton. I actually am proud of you, Kyle, because a lot of people would not say that and actually admit it, and I'm proud of you. Slapsky says Deontay all day.
Thanks to everybody who came over and commented from Twitch. I did see y'all. We do have a show to keep track of, but I appreciate each and every one of you. If you guys are still around, I saw y'all.
What is this comment? Oh, this one. Cooper always subject for a high game though, and I think this is what Kyle's. Is he with Watson? Question mark.
That's true. I just couldn't give y'all the satisfaction of saying Deontay.
It is. So Slavsky says
see.
it is. He says it is sleeper, but you can check that Slavsky, but I do think that most leagues that are doing it, you got to have it before. If you're willing to take, I would just stay with. It's not going to work. Just stay with D-Mark or D-Rob, and then see what happens next week, and then you can always play Higgins in week 4.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we want to bring up, boys, or are we ready?
I'm good. There was one question about Braylon Allen over Rico Dowdle or Hunt. Definitely to me.
Oh, Braylon Allen. I didn't see that one. Sorry, but yes, Braylon Allen for sure.
Shout out to Kirk Cousins. He gave us another one of those meme moments. What did he say? You like that? I missed it because I was asleep, but I heard he gave us. You like that?
He gave us another one of them.
That's what I heard.
So it wasn't that you liked that, but what he did was when he scored the winning touchdown, he ran off the field and people were like giving him dap, and he didn't even react. He just like walked off the field. Once he got to the bench, he got behind the coaches. I don't know what he said. It wasn't the exact, but it was that kind of a moment. He takes his helmet off and he just screams something in someone's face, like "Let's go" or "We did it" or like something. But he just like screams it, and you can't totally catch it. But it was one of those moments that are like, oh, that was we like that moment for sure.
So I'll throw this out here. Last week before the game started, someone needed a quarterback, traded Zay Flowers, a 25 first and a 26 first for Bryce Young.
Oh,
that happened last week. I was like, ooh, and they picked up Skylar Thompson this morning, the guy who traded up three first equivalent, pretty much. Yeah, that happened.
And Tyler Huntley. Miami Dolphins, Reg, he might be stepping in soon.
I got a lot of them already. I picked up him before all this happened because it was rumored that he was going back to Baltimore. He did, and then somebody else was interested in him too. A lot of people were interested in Snoop Huntley.
I heard Green Bay was even interested in him too, like before the whole Willis thing, like not knowing exactly what was going on. All right, let's get into the outros, and then my outro. I do have something I want to bring up that's happening in the fantasy world that I am actually proud of. Besides injuries, not proud of injuries, but like something that's actually happening good for my rosters besides injuries. Reggie, take it away.
Wait, what happened?
Outros.
Oh, outros. Thanks everybody for pulling up. We will be headed out to TwitchCon. Thanks to everybody. My vacation started right now. I will be gone next week. I will be in San Diego for the TwitchCon. This is my second time going, and I'm going to have a blast. You guys out there, make sure you guys keep it together and protect your mental. I know this fantasy football stuff can be tough, especially on a Sunday morning when you're setting your lineups and you think you're done and boop, 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 somebody else injured and you got to go through all your teams again. But until next time, peace, y'all.
Yeah, like Reggie said, Sunday mornings is stressful. Tuesday nights is stressful when you're trying to get your waivers set on 150 million teams I got. But I appreciate everybody jumping in the chat with your questions. I enjoy those. Keep them coming. Tell your friends to come check us out every Tuesday. Whatever questions they have, we'll try to answer them as best we can. Tune into the other shows over the course of the week doing some of the same things. Looking forward to it. Get y'all waivers set. For the people who have waivers that run early tomorrow morning. For the people that don't, look at injury reports tomorrow. Make sure people are healthy, and then go from there. But I'll catch you guys next week.
Yep, appreciate everyone tuning in. Catch us here every Tuesday on the Cheat Sheet. Also Sunday morning when you're ready to set your lineups. check out our Sunday morning start sit show with me, Kyle, and Topher. And also check out my article at the Fantasy Six Pack. It's a wide receiver versus cornerback article. Comes out every Friday.
All right, you guys know where to find me on the socials. Like everyone said, I don't have much more to say. I have one thing, but the most important thing is come join us every Tuesday. We will be here next week while Reggie is having fun on vacation. But the other thing I want to bring up real quick, and I have to do this. Yes, it's kind of a gloat, but I do not care. Jamie, how many teams are in Scott Fishbowl?
Was it like 4,200 or something like that?
It's right over 4K, somewhere right around that. What if I told you this guy was number 18th overall, baby? Let's go! I don't care if it's after week 2 or not. 18th overall. I will absolutely take it. I'm 2 spots behind Stephania Bell. Let's go.
Nice.
I was in the top 100 after week 1, and then I had Tua, Cooper Kupp, AJ Brown, all get hurt. So now I'm out of there.
I'm afraid that like week 4 or 5 is gonna hit. I'm gonna be sitting around 50 or 60, and then that's what I'm afraid of. I was at 70th 2 after last week, and then I'm like, okay. I checked. Someone DM me, and they're like, have you seen where you're at? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, you're 8. Oh, no way. And then I look and I'm all, holy cow. So yes, I am absolutely proud of that. I'm stoked. It's definitely the best position I've ever been in Scott Fishbowl. But like we said, it's only 2 weeks, so a lot can go wrong.
Take the
You got this.
Take the win.
Take the win. But this is the one thing I will bring up about my team, and this is what's crazy. On my bench is Derek Carr, and I'm still in second place. I haven't played him 1 week. He's on my bench. I have Lamar and I have Kyler. But because of those return rules, because of those kick return rules, I got Rashid Shaheed, baby. And that is part of the reason.
Because he's balling.
I know, right now. He's just kicking ass for me without it. Like, I don't even need it, but I'll take it.
What is he averaging? Like 40 points a game?
I think this
is averaging
like 36 or something. It was like 34. I think it was like 32 and 36 with the long pass or something like that. All right. Great show. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Slapsky, Kyle, NBA Rigged. I know I'm missing a couple of people. Gator J, everyone in the chat. Reggie, for Jordan. Hey, what'd you do? For Reggie, for Jordan.
I fist pumped and I broke it. Up here. Up here.
All right. For Reggie, for Jordan, for Jamie, I